Right, legends, welcome to a crypto live session. So this is gonna be more of an open session, okay? Q&As, whatever. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over the setups, okay? So I wasn't able to sit on my desk today. It's Friday afternoon. I go for Friday prayer and shit. So um, I'm not really at my desk Friday afternoon onwards most of the time. So let's go over yesterday's trade. So yesterday, I posted a setup for the long BTC, and I said this is the invalidation level, and I'll be targeting 6800. So when it rallied up like this, my first target was 65.75. I mentioned, okay, and then it just blasted through. Okay, it blasted through, and then when we found rejection around the weekly open, I collapsed the whole position. Then it remained at 6700. Okay, I posted that. Then I was looking for this setup where we've got the H1. Okay, and I said if this confirms, I'll be looking for bullish price action, and then I'm gonna get on board. I didn't get no bullish price action. Okay, and then I was watching this again. I said, okay, this was the previous range high, and that was the previous range low. We respected the previous range low, and I'm glad we're back within that range. Overall, the stops are going to be resting there next, and a clean break of 6800 would indicate much higher prices. So I'm watching this, and then come London Open, I said, okay, yes. Well, whatever the time was there, I said, yes, okay, we're getting a nice, you know, we're respecting it. We formed the H1 block, we're going to get ready for longs. So I was actually hunting longs. And I'm watching this and said, okay, it's rejected off the range high there, previous range high. See how that previous range high was used again? See, when I mark out a range, think of it like this. Don't just think of it, oh, it's a line on a chart. Think of it as a price level. They're keeping boundaries for price. They're keeping market at, okay? So they're not letting it go there, above there. They're not letting it go below there, okay? So I said, okay, we've got the weekly open strategy. We've got this down, which is the H1 block. And push the market up. Okay, it held it here. It pushed up again, and then I'm waiting here. I didn't like the fact. What put me off was that it hit that. So whenever you take a long or a short, whatever trade you take, you gotta look for reason for it to go there. Okay, you gotta look for. It's not just go look for the entry pattern to enter. What exits? Why is it? Why is it gonna go there? Think in terms like that. Why is it gonna go there? Sometimes if you require a shift in mindset when you approach a trade, do that. Okay. So in this scenario, we had this, and when we rejected that, I didn't like that. Okay, I said, okay, maybe they're gonna cap the week. So I said, let me wait for further confirmation. And in this scenario, because of that, normally I'd have taken this long. And even if you did take it long, that's fine. You had a risk there. So say that was a stop. I personally did not take that. So I said afterwards, I said, okay, watch the weekly open. If you can still maintain the weekly open and we find a new range, for example's sake, so we've got a swing low here within the block around the weekly open. If you got a rejection up there and then got bullish price action, that's a swing failure on a smaller time frame or a stop run, and then I'll probably take that long. It would have been an aggressive long. Why? Because we're within this key resistance. Remember that, okay? Only with a clean break of the 6800 would we say, okay, that's going to open the gates for that 7230 level I marked out, okay? We hadn't got that, so I'm watching it. And I said, okay, and then all of a sudden, boom, smash through. Then I marked out this scenario on the 1 minute, okay? I marked out a pivot on the 1 minute, and I said, okay, we've got to push up, and we first I had this block here, and I said, okay, I want to see a breakdown, and so at the time it looked like this. So at the time I had this marked out, okay, and the chart looked like this at the time, and I said, okay, as long as the blue box holds and we get a breakdown, so the breakdown would have been a break of this low here, okay. We didn't get that. This is why I wait for that breakdown, and he unfolded and he pushed up. So I said, remove that. I said, that's fine. I did that too. I said, when it tells you it's ready, then you'll know. So I marked this out, and then I've got a clear pivot to work with, or the start of a potential pivot, which was here, okay, because this was the down move that pushed the market up to take out these stops here. Not only that, why did I have a reason to short it? Where did it price want to go? Well, we got a clear target to reach for as well. Going back, we had this target reach here. It was a void fill into here. Now, why am I picking this? Let's go back down to the 5 minute. This, so when we pushed up and made that high, we had a stop run here, okay. What caused that stop run? It was this down move, pushed the market up, and then below it, resistance, resistance. It broke it here, but the body's held, resistance, resistance, and then made a clean breakout. Okay, so normally you'd like a clean break of a pivot, and then a retest. It didn't retest; it just blasted through. So there's a good probability it's gonna be a good target if you're gonna short it or look for a trade to get long off of. Is everybody with me so far? Okay, so going forward, this tells us our target to reach for. Okay, so let's go back to the afternoon I was talking about, and I said, okay, we want to look for bullish price action. We weren't getting it. Bearish price action breakdown, and I wasn't gonna take it. I said, if it makes a clean break of the pivot, then I'll take it. So support, support again, and then at this point, it was an aggressive short. So as soon as this happened, we had a break of it here and then a short again. So I took an aggressive short there. Now at this point, we didn't get retest. So I did a small size, a tiny size, with a stop loss above that high there. Then I waited. I said, okay, we've still got downside to go. It hasn't hit our target. That's good. So then it started to accumulate around here. So it pushed up, then broke down again, and then started to break down. So then I shorted it. As soon as it was turning here, I thought, okay, it's making a lower high. I shorted the rest there. At that point, I thought, okay, if I'm right, it shouldn't break this pivot, okay? Even though it hasn't retested it, it did touch this level here. You see that there? There. It's a small minor SR level. Now, when we're dealing with the 1 minute, that's fine, okay? So often you'll find there's a support there and then pushed up, so it doesn't necessarily have to touch that, okay? So I took an aggressive short there and stop loss there, and it pushed down, and I'm watching it, I said, okay, we've just got to stop run here. And at this point, I said, why is it not breaking? So it's holding it, holding it. Then it starts pushing up. So fuck it, let me close it. Why? Because when you're on the 1 minute, what the fuck was that? Okay. So when you're on the 1 minute, right, and it starts push up, I'd close the rest of the position. I said, okay, it could easily push back up. And the good thing I did, it ride all the way up there. Okay. So that was that. And then I'm saying, okay, it hasn't hit my target yet. Now this is not a trade I took personally. Okay. So this is now hindsight, now watching it hindsight, okay? Well, going along with it, I didn't watch it here. So I'm watching this, I said, okay, what reason, if it's going to push up from there, what reason does it have? Well, if we look, remember, go down to low time. Remember, this was the block we were looking for longs yesterday. Remember that? I said, if this confirms, so if you go down to the lower time frame, at this point, you're going to think to yourself, what reason does it have to go up there? Okay, so let me get rid of this for a second. Well, we've got obviously stops resting here. What's our key level? That's that range low. See this level here? That's that range low. Hang on, what the fuck is this blue line here? Oh, that's the daily open. Okay, so it respected the range low here. So if I mark that out, that's acting as a pivot here, isn't it? If you look, and it's the pivot right at SR. What's the SR level? That range low. Okay, so at this point, you don't know if it's gonna hold. You don't know. You're waiting for that breakdown. So let's go to the 1 minute now. Okay, the reason why I'm doing more 1 minute is because we're gonna do that in FX next week. Okay, so high, stop run, breakdown. When you get that breakdown, have we hit that downside target yet at this point? Have we hit that downside target or filled that void in? No. So, you know at this point, you've got a good risk reward, haven't it? You know where you got your pivot, which is above this blue box here. You shouldn't invalidate that. We're getting a breakdown from it. That breakdown tells us, okay, we're holding that pivot now. Understood? We've got a good objective to reach for. See how I keep saying we've got an objective to reach for. Not saying, oh, it's a short setup. I'm saying we've got a good reason. Whenever you take a trade or looking for a trade, look for a reason to go to that direction. Don't just say, oh, that's an entry. Look for a reason to go there. Now, if it was a void fill already, if you had touched that level, the probability of this short wouldn't be as high, and I probably would not be hunting that. Okay, I'll be looking for a failure of this pivot to get on board long then. Okay, so let's look at there we got that breakdown. So as soon as you got that breakdown, any retest, I mean, you cannot get better price action like this. I missed, like, FX hasn't given me this kind of clean price action in ages. Perfect retest into there. Now I wasn't on board this myself, not gonna lie, but it dropped. Okay, because and then you got that perfect to the 62.30 level. Add orders here. Okay, where was my stop loss? Just below this pivot here. It was here. It was at this swing low here. Okay, just there, 6,500. Okay, whip me up all the way back up. Okay, now I seen this. I said right to the weekly open, to the tick. Do you think that's a coincidence? It's gone right to the tick. No, it's fucking not. So as soon as we got that, and another thing I put was really fast. I mean, you don't really get moves like this that fast, do you? So when I saw that, I go, nah. I 2/3 of the close. I've just collapsed the rest of the position. Why have I collapsed the rest of the position? We're getting a breakdown now. Okay, it's starting to break down now. So it's breakdown, and that's why I've closed the rest of the position. Understood? So what am I looking for next then? Okay, so right now I'm in a position where okay, the trade's been fulfilled. I don't have a clean ass setup right now. So let's break this down now from the daily. Okay, I don't have anything clear right now. The only thing I can say clear with confidence is if we smash through the 6800, that's where I will look for this. I know. I mean, this is why I said if only Bitcoin or crypto was like this every week. I mean, FX is like this most of the weeks. It's nice, especially with scalping anyway. But so bigger picture, I know where my clear probability trade is. If it gets above 6800, okay, I'm still waiting for that. Then my target is going to be that clear target to reach for, okay. But right now we are still below the 6800. We're still within this, okay. Okay, so we've come to this daily block. Let's see how far in this daily block we got. So I'll first of all I'll do the high and low, okay, of the whole candle first. There's 50% there. Then I'll do the body. I'll mark out 250% the whole candle and then 50%. We've come right to 50%. Can you see that? To the tick, which is quite a good sign. Okay, when you get 50% respected like that, it's a good sign. Okay, so I'm gonna there we go. Okay, so we've come to there. We've filled in the void. Okay, from yesterday, and okay, we filled in the void from yesterday. We've come to the pivot as well. Now it's still being capped by the weekly open. So right now, if where are the stops resting now? The stops are going to be resting at high of the day. Okay, so we've taken out, these stops here. We pushed up on taking these stops out next. So the downside stops are going to be resting now. Short term going to be here, here, but then ultimately here. So those that have been short all day, their stops are going to be resting there. What would give me confidence to short this? So target wise, if I was to long it again, this would be the target here. Okay, this was a down move that pushed the market up, caused that high. Okay, so if I was to take a long, that's where I would reach for. Where's my validation level now? If we look at this, is this a breaking market structure? We've taken out the stops, okay, hit into key level, pushed up, made a higher high. Is this a breaking market structure? See the way it's looking, I need more price action to work with. For example, when I say more price action to work with, you see all this price action here where it hits the block, makes a high, all this price action that we got here. I need something like this to hinge a trade off of. Right now, if I take anything, it's gonna be aggressive. I could go long and still keep a stop loss there, but it's too wide. It's not worth the risk reward. I don't have a clear invalidation level as we begin. So what I would need is clear more price action. So at this point, you stay the fuck away from it. Okay, but I know short term, when if the long setup unfolds, my target is going to be into that breaker there. Secondary targets will be high of day. I don't know if we're going to take our 6800, but if it does take our 6800 cleanly, then that's a whole new ball game. That's when we really start going for 7230s. Then okay, that'll be more. We start working the area above the blue line. Okay, I'm looking to fill all this void in. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we've got a range on a. Would you agree we're working from that high to this low now? So if I mark that out, has price respected that? If we look, I'll mark out the high. I'll mark out this low first. That was the initial low made. Okay, so I'm using that range from that high to this low, right at 50%. That's what capped the market. Okay, so we know now that if market was to do something like this, so okay, let me get a clean chart out here. Okay, let me get a clean chart out here. It'd be easier to explain it. So let me just clear all this shit up. Oops, daisy. Okay, if we go to the 4 hour, okay, let's mark our ranges, and then we'll just analyze it on a 4 hour chart as well. Okay, that's the high, and that's the range low. Okay, see, this is a fucking thing, innit? The data varies. On BitMEX, the data is clearer because we've hit 50%. Let me try it on Bitfinex. See if it respects it there, because then it just fucks up my plans. I don't want to lose my drawings on the BitMEX data. This is a fucking world of its own. Right, fuck it. Let's go stick with this now. Okay, that's 50% lines up with that SR level there. So if I look at it like this is one side of price action. Okay, and then this is the second. The As long as we're within this box, we're working this box here. As long as we're above that, we're working that here. So these are two separate zones we're working. Okay, so I'm just repeating myself now. The clear setup will be clean break. Look for bullish price action here. That opens the gate. We got all this to work with. Trading's gonna go happen here. Whatever's happened here, I'm expecting a similar thing here. Okay, so that would be the clear setup. Right now, what's happening right now? If I get this, if I get that there. Right now, we've got ignoring this spike here. We're getting this sort of price action here. So if I mark this out, we're gonna ignore this anomaly here. Okay, we're gonna know. I spoke about that before. And let me get rid of this box. Remove. So always remember the high time frames. So don't get too sucked into the lower time frame just because I'm looking for entries there. Low to high. Can you see what I'm trying to do here? Low, high, higher, low. Ignoring this anomaly. Higher, high, higher, low. So where would be the invalidation level on a swing basis? We don't want to see this low given. Agreed? So as a swing trader, you know how to play this now. Okay? So yeah, so right now, not much to work with other than wait for that. Um, so what we're gonna do now is, like I said, wait for more price action to unfold. But can we build a case now? Do we have any range to work within, at least lower time frame? Well, not really, to be honest with you. We can say this was an old range here, for example's sake. If we look, get rid of this, okay? If we look right, this low led to that high. So if you mark that out, that's a new range we're working within, okay? Or a lower time frame range. I can say it like this. Okay, can you see why I've done that? When we pushed up, that was the first low made. We retested there, we swing failed it there, okay? And so on and so forth. Another way to support the short idea, and this is a basic SR concept, okay? Would have been this is the first time we're bearish overall. So if you miss those setups there, so the short I mentioned there, so this is future. When you see this in the future happen again, you know how to approach it. If you miss that setup there or there, whatever above this here, then what's that other entry? This was the clean break of it. Okay, so you could have chased this market. Okay, we got a clear reason to go lower. As soon as it closed below, you could short it there. Stop loss ideally above this level here, which is the range high. Okay, target one there, and then there. So this would have been another entry technique, okay? Is it anything on the 1 minute? So any pullback there, but we had that close below that range low, and then that was another downside, okay? And it's no surprise we're finding a bit of support here. Now, this does not mean I'll go long here. Why? Because if this was a grind up, okay? If this was an efficient movement up, okay? For example, like this, then I could have probably taken that. But there's some inefficiency to be filled in, so for now, wait. Okay, but we know where the target is. When it sets up, if it's ready, I'll post it anyway. But when it sets up and it's ready, then that's going to be the target there. Okay, and the secondary there. So week's not over yet. So if we mark this out, okay, that was the first low formed. So what I would like to see, ideal scenario would be, in a perfect world, would be, I want to see this low hold. So I love to see rollover and then start forming bullish price action here. As soon as I get bullish price action there, then I'm gonna take this fucker long into there. Okay, and ideally, I want to see that low hold, but my risk would be there then. Okay, and there, and then if it does smash through that and find support there, then let's start gunning for that. Okay, that would be the model I'd be looking for. Is that clear? So let's go down and say, okay, see, sometimes you can see, I see setups easier on the sell side than the long side. Does anybody else have that? So if you look at it, right, is there any way I can flip this chart here, trading view? Is there any way of doing that? So if I look at this, right, how would this look like for a sell side scenario? It would look like, let's find an example. Let me pause this. So if this was to break, what does that mean then? This could be a sell model, couldn't it? So if this was to break like this, then what do I look for? I look for the breakdown. Where's my stops resting there? These lows here. There's a void here to reach for, so we got good reason for it to reach for a high probability target, which is here. Take out the stops into the void fill. Whatever it does after that, that's fine. But I'll be looking for weakness from here. Nice target to reach for. If it broke this, then I'll be targeting this low here. Okay? And then each swing low to the left then. Is that clear for the sell side? So now we covered both directions. We're happy to play both ways. Why are we happy to play both ways? Because it's still in a range. Okay, remember that. We're still in a range. We're still below here. Macro, as long as below here, technically, it's the bearish setups you want to look for. Okay? So let's not forget, just because it's gone up, it's funny how the mind shifts towards only looking for longs because the longs are setting up. But many wouldn't even think about the shorts. So for example, say I could even mark out a short scenario. So when this happened, right, I had this marked out. And this is a 1 minute setup, aggressive 1 minute setup. Okay, so on this 1 minute chart, right, if you go down to the 1 minute, this is a setup you can take. It's aggressive, but the risk to reward is amazing. Well, okay, we established the key high time frame level, which is, well, not key high time frame level, but it's a key level. That's the range high we just saw. Okay, seen? Okay, we broke that. Now, yesterday we had a good reason to drop because of that void, that fast move up we had yesterday. So technically, this is a setup as well. This is a down move that pushed the market up. Okay, it's aggressive though, because at this point I was looking for longs. But if you're the type that said, well, I'm really aggressive and you had a good reason to short it, I didn't, so it's not something I would have taken. The only reason I would have got confident on the shorts would have been a clean break of the block I showed at the beginning. Okay, but this would have been, well, if you get the mindset where this is still in a range, down we push the market up, resistance, breakdown, and seen that breakdown there, that's a short there, stop loss there. Okay, it shouldn't really break that pivot, but stop loss there, and played it all the way down. But that's something I wouldn't have taken myself, but it's a sell scenario regardless. Okay. Okay. How do I know if it's a stop hunt or a bullish bearish PA? Well, you don't. Well, see, a breaking market structure and a stop. It could be a move can be both a breaking market structure and a stop hunt. It depends on what time frame you're looking at. Okay. It just depends on what time frame you're looking at. Because technically, this here could be a break. It's a stop hunt definitely because we've just taken out a high, but at the same time, it could be a breaking market structure. The only time that would be confirmed further would be bullish price action here. If I get bullish price action here and this low holds, then I'm leaning towards a breaking market structure as well on the, because of this move up. So for example's sake, let's go here, here. Okay. Sometimes it's not very clear. Sometimes it's just I personally don't have black and white rules for stop or break market structure. For example, here in this example, I have a clear one here. Okay, let's go to here. From the beginning of the week, remember if you begin from the weekend, you remember I marked like this setup, okay, with the key level there, and I said if we get that breakdown, that's that breaking market structure. So for example, here it's hinged off the key level. So when I look for breaks in market structure, what gives me confidence is if it's off a key level. If I've got a bias and it's come off a key level and it breaks down, I consider that as a breaking market structure. So that's that key level there, 6800, and that daily breaker. It comes down and it breaks it. It takes out this low, so it's pushed up, took out the stops, and then breakdown. This move here is that breaking market structure. What is the rules behind that? It's come off the key level, 6800 level. It's come off the daily breaker. The fact that it's come off the daily block and done this is a breaking market structure in my eyes. Understood? And also technically it's a stop hunt as well. Why? Because it's taking out these lows. So it's both really. But if you're looking for the particular breaking market structure, you've got that breaking market structure there. Okay. Then you know any move up, as long as that high holds, it's a valid short. So you can sell it there if you want. Anywhere you can sell it as long as that high holds. Okay. And then we got that breakdown because it's in sync with what the higher time frame. So for example, say in this scenario here, we've got that key level here. So we've got that key level here. Okay. This is that for our breakout. So ignore this. Okay, we had the push up into there, up to there. Okay, then we had a move down. I was really bearish this. And I said I wanted to see this how a break. It didn't break, so it came down. At this point, I'm looking for what a breaking market structure to get long. Understood? So we're going. Okay, we got a swing failure there. We've got a stop run. We're in a key level now. If it makes a higher high, a bullish price action now, that's gonna be considered as what a breaking market structure. Okay, so let's go. Let's go there. It's that bullish PA. Okay, if you go to the H1 there, so we come down, made a low, and then at that point, and this is a long setup I spoke about. Okay, there. But the breaking market structure is, see that impulse move there? There. That's the breaking market structure. Okay, why? Because it hinged off the key high time frame level. Understood? Do we have clear targets to reach for? Yes, we do. That's 6575 level as target one, and then obviously this high here, then the weekly open, and then that high there. Now, is everybody clear with what a breaking market structure is now? Another way of looking at a breaking market structure is like this. Let's go back to the original setup. This here is another form of a breaking market structure, break of a pivot. That I would consider as a breaking market structure. Can you see why? It's telling me it wants to go lower. Interpret it like this: when the market tells you it wants to go lower or higher by doing a sequence of events, for example, say in this scenario, we've taken our stops, we've hit it, okay, it's increasing the odds of a support level. It's hit it again, as further confirmed it. A break of it is what? A breakdown is another way of saying a breaking market structure. Agreed? So this can be considered as a breaking market structure as well. Okay? That's a breakdown as well. Again, here, we spoke about this 5-minute pivot here. Okay? Do you have good reason to go lower? See, if you look at the context of it, okay, don't just look at a specific price action, one pattern, and say, is that a breaking market structure or not? If you've got a good reason, the context of or the storyline behind it says it's gonna go lower, then you know what you gotta look for. Understood? Work backwards. Where does it need to go? Where's my key level to take the trade off? That's my key level. It needs to go there. What am I looking for? A breakdown. Then breaks in market structure are easy to see. Does that make sense? When you get a context behind you, then you know what you need to look for in the entry pattern, i.e. the breakdown then. Okay? So in this example, pushed up, down, stop run, there's that key level, there's that breaking market structure now, because you're already waiting for that breaking market structure. Whereas normally, if you don't look for, well, this was changed it for me. Okay, whether you think of it like that or not, it doesn't. I don't know. But it clarified for me breaks in market structure where what's the context? It needs to go to that 6530 level. Okay, I've got the high time. I've got the key level there. If it if it pushes up some sort of scenario, then breaks down there, that's my breaking market structure. That's now my validation level, and off to the races. Is that clear? Or if you wanted to, another entry was there. Range low, range high. We got the context in mind. It wants to go lower. There's that breakdown. That can be seen as a breakdown or a breaking market structure as well. Is that clear? So I know a few people they're confused about breaks in market structure. This is how I see it. I don't have a rigid. It's the context first. Remember this. Have a rule book or some lines that are. It's context first. Then when you have that breakdown, that's that break in market structure. It's something simple, isn't it? Like thinking of it differently. Where look, where does it want to go? And if I get that, if I get the entry part of the key level, that's my break in market structure. Okay.